Hello, this is Lucretia with the Calm and Confident You podcast. Let's jump in. A few weeks ago, I had a terrible week at work. A coworker was on vacation, another had quit, and the new hire wasn't trained up to start working and helping. If you don't know, I work as a counselor in a hospital psychiatric unit for youth. During this week, we had an upsurge in admissions to our unit, way beyond what the other therapist and myself could manage. So I was working overtime every day. Sometimes we don't have control over how much we take on. I couldn't just say, no, I'm not taking on any more patients. I did have to hold boundaries in other ways and decide priority actions. Some things had to give and would just not get done. And I felt bad for some of the things that did not get done, because some of it included not giving as much attention to a patient as I normally would. I was frazzled and exhausted at the end of each day. I knew I should be doing self-care. I thought of going to the gym. I knew it would be a stress reliever, but I couldn't get myself to go. Instead, I ate dinner and collapsed onto the couch. Then I was disappointed in myself for not going to the gym. I did manage a brief walk a couple of times during that busy week, but for the most part, I neglected self-care. And eventually, my body made the decision for me that I could not keep pushing at that pace. When Saturday came, I had an activity planned with a couple of friends. But getting ready to go early in the morning and then the energy of that activity was just too much for me. I decided to stay home instead. That morning I cuddled with my cat, coffee in hand, and read a book for a couple of hours. And that was what I needed. I spent the next week getting myself back on track and recovering. I did make it to the gym. I did go for a longer walk on some sunny days. I mowed my lawn. I did some morning guided meditations. I got back on track with healthy meals because I had slipped into just grabbing what was quick and easy. I would say it took a whole week for me to calm my nervous system and get back to steady. But while that stressful work week eventually passed, I realized another layer of stress had quietly been building underneath it. Now that work stress was imposed upon me. But my anxiety has been increasing lately, and that is self-imposed. I am making changes that affect me financially, and it is scary. I am not a financial risk taker. I've always been a saver and not a spender. But I have recently officially reduced my hours at that hospital job, with hopes to increase my outpatient counseling practice and my courses and coaching endeavors. I have several projects and avenues I am pursuing, but they are all in the beginning stages. There will be a period of time where my income falls, and I have no idea how long that will last. I need to have faith that my plans will be successful, and for them to be successful, a lot rides on my ability to be confident. And here's the thing. I've always struggled with confidence when it comes to making things happen. I am highly confident in my ability to learn, understand concepts, and to fulfill expectations. I am not so confident in my ability to take on a project, especially a business endeavor, and bring it to success. And I think that realization is part of what finally pushed me to stop trying to do everything alone. So I am asking for help. I have a business coach who helps keep me motivated and on track with the tasks I need to implement. I have always managed all of my own social media posting and advertising accounts, but this year I am hiring people to help me because I know I'm not an expert, nor do I have the time to create the best advertising materials. A few months ago, I hired a virtual assistant who is great at design and who is able to devote her time to my social accounts. And just this month, I've hired an advertising agency to help me promote my counseling services. At this point in time, I'm letting them tell me how to go about it. I am also a new member of a business networking group, and a couple of the members have graciously mentored me a bit and provided me with education and guidance. This is all very valuable to me and my endeavors. But external support is only part of it. I also have to pay attention to how I manage myself, day to day, mentally and physically. So asking for help is one way I am managing my anxiety during this transition to relying more on my private practice. I have other ways that I manage stress on my own. I already have a habit of doing a short guided meditation in the mornings before my mind gets busy with solving the problems of the day. Lately, I've been choosing some meditations that have confidence as the theme. I also have been watching myself talk and telling myself that what I have to offer is useful and valuable. When I get anxious, I feel pressure to get everything done immediately because it all feels important to the success of my plans. But I recognize the tendency to work too much and drive myself into exhaustion, which doesn't help because this is an ongoing project which will require consistent effort over a long time. Bringing my private counseling practice and skills coaching business endeavors to success is like running a marathon. Put one foot in front of the other and don't stop. So I remind myself to get outside and go for a walk. I remind myself that strength training helps me mentally as much as physically. I remind myself to take time to eat healthy food and to wind down before bed and get enough sleep. And since it is a holiday weekend currently, much of my business needs to be set aside and wait anyway. I am realizing that sustainability matters more than intensity right now. I think building something new like my business is a lot like tending a garden. You do small things consistently for a long time before you fully see the results. So I've been outside digging weeds and grass out of my perennial garden and feeling the satisfaction of it looking cleaned up and orderly. I also have been spending a little time each day watching video education for the continuing credits I need to earn for my counseling license. I am choosing to pace myself with doing just a couple of hours per day and alternating watching and then getting physically active. I am interested in the topic I am learning, so it is peaceful to sit with my coffee in the morning and take in the information in a way that allows me to digest it and think about it. During this week going forward, pay attention to whether you are trying to recover or trying to prove something to yourself. Ask yourself what would actually help my nervous system feel steadier right now. Maybe it is rest. Maybe it is movement. Maybe it's asking for help. Maybe it is pacing yourself instead of rushing. Choose one small supportive action each day this week, even if it seems simple. Sometimes the small things are actually what help us stay steady enough to continue the bigger journey. Maybe part of emotional strength is learning how to keep moving forward without constantly exhausting ourselves in the process. If you are interested in joining me in regular grounding practice, I am starting a monthly membership for just $5. You can learn more about the Foundation's membership at growingemotionalstrength.com. And that's growingemotionalstrength.com. Check it out, and until next time, be well.